Good afternoon and welcome to the Sports Show with No Name. I'm your host. I'm Chad Bryan. With me, as always, is my buddy Ben Bales. Ben, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Good.
Happy New Year. It is New Year's Eve.
It is.
2025 is almost gone. That is troubling for someone like me who feels like about 8 to 12 months ago it was 1998, but that's fine. I guess time just really does start to move a lot faster as you get older because I have no idea how we're headed to 2026. Like that feels like a sci-fi movie to me, but it's tomorrow, so it's fine. Any plans for New Year's Eve? What are you doing for New Year's Eve? Anything?
Hanging out. Probably going to watch Ohio State.
Yeah, me too. That's all.
Eat some meatballs.
Eat some what?
Meatballs.
Meatballs sound delicious. Okay, I'm down. Yeah, I mean, most of my plans for everything involve staying at home, staying local these days. I'm that old. I'm 46. It happens. But yeah, I guess regardless of what you do for New Year's Eve, if you're going out to bring it in somewhere else, please stay safe. I said it on a show I did earlier. You have resources. There's Uber. There's Lyft. Call a parent, a sibling, a spouse, a family member, a friend, a neighbor, whatever you have to do. Please stay safe. Please do not drink and drive. Don't do that. The weather's going to be really bad. We have a winter weather advisory or a lake effect snow warning, depending on where you get your weather. I looked outside on the way to the studio here. I was just walking through my house, but it's starting to snow now. So it's starting
here. So
yeah, depending on we've had plenty of snow. I had the snowblower out yesterday. It looks like I didn't even do anything already. And we're going to get, again, depending on where you get your weather, either 2 to 4 inches more, 3 to 7, possibly 4 to 10. I have no idea. We're going to get more snow. It's Northeast Ohio. It's December. It's going to be January here in a little bit. All I know is that we're going to get snow. I just don't know the total amount. I don't know the length of time it's going to snow, but it will snow at some point. So it usually times up with when I have to go somewhere. That's when it snows the hardest. I don't know if that's the same for everybody else, but that's how it works for me.
So before you get into our topics, I just want to say this. Brunswick, big basketball game Friday night.
Okay.
Playing Medina at home. Big game.
Nice.
Coming off our first loss of the season, though, unfortunately, against Gilmore Academy.
Okay.
Lost by 5 to Gilmore. So.
Okay.
But I mean, it's sports. I mean, you could have the best team in the world and you're still going to lose some games. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah, basketball's one of those sports. I mean, if shots aren't dropping, that night, then
yeah,
it can happen for sure.
So big game. If you're able to attend, come out. We'd love to have you. But Brunswick's looking to make another deep run this year. So
yeah. A lot of really good high school basketball. I've been trying to pay attention a little bit across the state. Just paying attention to girls and boys basketball. It's tough to get every storyline and every game and every score and every box score and everything else. Believe it or not, it used to be, I swear, like the newspapers used to be a lot more dependable for that. It used to have, I was just talking about this with my cousin the other day. When I was younger, that was like so after an Ohio State game on Saturday, my whole existence on Sunday was basically reading the article about the game on Sunday, reading the box score, going through any other, college football scores that were in that Sunday paper, reading any write-ups. I used to love reading, any high school scores, all the box scores, especially during basketball season. It was always fun to see somebody local, you'd see somebody go for 54 points. Like, wait, who? Like, what's that?
Yeah.
All right, what's this? And you start looking up things or whatever. That's how you learn. And I kind of miss that. I mean, now we get our news almost instantly. It's like now that a certain team's up, 64-61 in the third quarter, and so has 29 points. When the big game is happening. Well, I guess some of that's cool. That's great. But, I don't know. I'm not sure if maybe I'm old school. It seems like nothing will ever really replace having that sports page in my hand on Sunday morning and, kind of going through just front to back, reading the whole thing.
Yeah.
I used to love that. But, again, that's ancient history. I mean, it is what it is.
Times have changed. Now all of our news comes on these.
Yeah, right. Instantly. I mean, we get, like I said, we get it almost too fast sometimes, depending on what it is. But hey, that's okay. There's a rush to get it out there first and not necessarily be correct or factual or
part you gotta watch out for.
Yeah. But yeah, go Brunswick Friday night. Yeah, against you said Medina, right?
Yep.
That's the rivalry.
Big rivalry game.
That'll be a fun one, man. Hopefully they can pick up a W in that one.
Hopefully.
Ben, what are we going to talk about today? We got college football playoff stuff to get to. Miami, right? Ohio
Why don't we
State
just
plays
start with
Miami.
college football?
It's the postseason matchup that Canes fans have been drooling for since 2003. About this time, really, it was January 3rd. I think it was just after the New Year in 2003. I remember watching that game, a double overtime, 31-24 Ohio State win for the national championship. That Miami team was like, the evil empire, man. They were unbeatable. They had literally won, I can't remember how many games in a row. But Larry Coker took his first loss as a head coach. He had taken over in 2001 at Miami, won a national championship. And they were on the cusp of back-to-back titles, but they forgot one thing, that they had to beat Ohio State. And I still see people throwing around the slow Ohio online. Like, have you not watched college football since 1994? But whatever, that's fine. Definitely not the case anymore. I think Ohio State is by far the more talented team than Miami, but we'll get to that in a minute. We're going to talk. Listen, Michigan hired someone finally. Someone was finally willing to touch that program. And I think they, honestly, as far as Michigan goes, I mean, I'm not going to be a hater. I think they did it just about as well as they could have possibly done.
Yeah.
As far as hiring someone who, can coach a little bit of football and, a little bit of moral turpitude. I think that was a big thing. You had to bring in someone who is, perceived as being, clean and whatever, a decent person after everything they've been through over the last, 5 to 7 years. So, I thought they did about as well as they could. We'll get to that in a minute. And I guess we're going to talk a little bit. We can talk World Baseball Classic rosters if you want to, Ben. We can talk about that.
We could. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, we can save it for.
No, let's do it because it's so cold and snowy outside. Let's talk about something spring and summery, man. Let's get some warm weather into our lives. And we'll also talk about let's start Brown Steelers because
we're the Cleveland Browns.
Ben, you're a Steelers fan. I mean, that game on Sunday, that 13-6 travesty, where I don't know what Mike Tomlin and the Steelers were doing. I guess the whole game plan was to keep Myles Garrett out of the game. He was in the game, but just I guess they were trying to limit him from being too effective in the pass rush. So coming in, you thought, okay, well, they've been really effective running the football. Cleveland's run defense is kind of taking a step back. Steelers are going to run the football, right? No. Instead they threw it 39 times.
It's Mike Tomlin.
39 times. They wanted to. I think they tried to match Aaron Rodgers' age. Almost got there, and they were just a bunch of little quick hitters. And I mean, 39 attempts for 168 passing yards and no touchdowns isn't exactly setting the world on fire.
No, I will say this though, DK Metcalf getting suspended really hurt us.
Yeah, for sure.
But I will say this: play calling too in this game was on both sides was absolutely atrocious.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because on 4th and 1, why are you running a go ball to Scotty Miller? Like
Scotty Miller, man, come on.
The play that the Steelers have perfected is that tush push with Connor Hayward, right?
Yeah.
I get Darnell Washington is out, and
By the way, he averaged 13 yards per carry in that game.
He did.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw Darnell Washington's out for the year with a broken forearm, broke his arm.
Yeah.
But you're telling me that Connor Hayward can't get 1 yard by himself? You went for it 3 times on 4th and 1, and now there's all these different variations and trickeries that they've implemented into this. Yeah. You're telling me you couldn't somehow come up with 1 yard 3 different times, and you decided to line up in the shotgun?
You would think at some point he could just mosey his way to the line of scrimmage and lay down with the football and be okay,
right?
And gain the yard, but yeah, I get it. I understand.
But what I don't understand either is you get inside the 10-yard line. Oh, let's just throw 3 straight go balls to Valdez-Scantling against Denzel Ward, who's one of the best man-to-man corners. What are we doing?
Did you have Pat Freiermuth being the leading receiver in that game?
I mean, I could have told you it because the Browns don't really. I mean, not don't really, but when Carson Schwarzenegger's hurt, you're going to attack the middle of the field, and they did that on the final drive.
Yeah,
and you get 2 chunk plays to Pat Freiermuth.
By the way, with Carson Schwarzenegger, part of me just wants the Browns to shut him down.
Yeah.
There's 1 game left. They're not playing for a playoff spot. We all know what he is. I mean, he's probably the defensive rookie of the year, I would imagine, in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that you can really glean from putting him out here with a quad strain or whatever. I'm not sure what he did. He already had the high ankle sprain. Just maybe shut him down and get him healthy for next year. Get him out there for training camp on opening day. I think, again, you know what you have in Carson Schlesinger if you're the Browns. He's a tough kid. Yeah. He doesn't have to prove that to me by playing on Sunday. I don't think that's necessary at all. 13-6, the Browns win this one to move to 4-12. The Steelers fall to 9-7. Ho hum, another 9-7. You're looking at 10-7, 9-8 again under Mike Tomlin. I know, Steelers fan Ben, I know you guys get sick of the 9-8 or whatever, but I mean, listen, Browns fans, I would think most Browns fans would take that in a heartbeat. Wouldn't you?
No.
I know. I've heard him say it. I absolutely would. I would take 9-8, 10-7. I would take the first round exits because at least with a first round exit, the possibility for a second round game is there. When you go 4-13 or whatever, 5-12, whatever they could end up, there's no possibility of the playoffs. You're eliminated in week 14. There's nothing to watch. We're already talking about the draft. We're already talking about next year's quarterback, which, excuse me. By the way, I think the Browns are making a huge mistake if they go into the first round and take a quarterback next year. I think you've got to give Shedeur Sanders another year. Let him have a calendar year of practicing with the ones.
Yeah, I think so too. But I also think, I mean, we've talked about this before, right? Like, the Browns' losses since Shedeur started are not on Shedeur.
Yeah, no.
They're on Kevin Stefanski and the inability to put the ball in the end zone, right? Like, there's so many times when Shedeur led you down to the goal line, and then you take him out and run some silly trickeration play with Quinshon Judkins that gets picked off. You're like, what are we doing?
What was that? Yeah.
Like, and the game against Buffalo, Shedeur Sanders had 4 carries for 46 yards. You're telling me he can't get you 2 yards if you want to run the ball?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Chad, me and you've talked about this all the time, right? What is one of the hardest plays to stop in football? It's the option play.
Yeah.
You're telling me Shedeur Sanders can't run the option from 2 yards out?
Well, and I don't think a lot of people realized how athletic he was coming into Cleveland. I don't think a lot of people realized.
Like his dad's Deion Sanders.
Right.
It's ever.
It's there. It's in the bloodline. Like there's athleticism there. Listen, Shedeur Sanders has impressed me. Not in the sense that he came out and turned the Browns around right away. No one was going to be able to do that. There's no quarterback out there that you could put behind that defensive or behind that offensive line. And with that wide receiving crew that was going to turn this team around. No one was going to do that. But he's made some nice throws.
He has. And like my dad said, like you look at the offense under Dillon Gabriel and the offense under Shedeur, they're taking deep shots with Shedeur.
Yeah.
And yes,
it looks like an NFL offense.
It does. Yes. Shedeur has had some bad passes, like that one he threw to Kyle Duggar. Like
it was awful.
Like, what are we doing?
It was awful.
But then you have throws like in that Raiders game, the one he made to Harold Fannin, where he's running across the corner of the end zone and lobs over the guy's head, and Fannin catches it. You're like,
yeah. Okay. But listen, I think if you picked apart a lot of rookie seasons from quarterbacks in the NFL, you would see a lot of guys trying to play hero ball and a lot of guys trying to make.
Peyton Manning threw 24 picks.
Of course he did. Yeah, I mean that's exactly where I was headed with it. And listen, know what? That doesn't mean we're comparing Shedeur Sanders to Peyton Manning. Like that doesn't. We're just saying that you can improve. Like. Every time you mention that, so now he's Peyton Manning. I didn't say that. Like, calm down and listen to what the point of the story is. The point is you can come out and have a really, really bad rookie year and get better. You can improve. You can progress. The game slows down for you or it doesn't. I mean, that's it, right? But I think he's done some really nice passes. I think he's flashes in that offense without any real. I mean. I don't know if you want to believe like the supposed time that he had where the entire starting offense didn't have anything to do with him. They hadn't even heard his cadence, until he went out there mid-game when Dillon Gabriel got hurt. So I don't know. I think a lot of things like that. I think he's just shown an incredible amount of maturity, and I think he's shown a lot of signs of being able to run the Browns offense the way it's designed.
I agree, and I will say this though.
Take it or leave it. Whatever that offense is, Stefanski, it's whatever.
I will say this, though.
Go.
This has to be one of the best rookie classes the Browns have had in a long time. Like, Harold Fannin has like 77 receptions or something like that. Quinshon Judkins was leading all rookie rushers in yards. Carson Schlesinger is, he's your green dot. He's calling the plays. Yeah. Dude's an animal all over the field. I mean, Mason Graham's having a decent year. Yeah. Like, this is the first time in a long time that they've had a good draft class. But
and you wonder if some of Schlesinger's success is because of Mason Graham allowing him to make some plays in the middle a little bit.
But
then listen, there's also some huge lumps in that draft class. You took Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round.
That's
a big red flag. You don't get a pass if you're Andrew Berry just because, hey, if 4 or 5 guys are playing well. You took Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. Yeah, and then for some reason you took Shedeur Sanders in the 5th, and I just don't understand. I don't get bringing 2 quarterbacks into that mix, and I don't get reaching for Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round when almost every NFL executive would tell you, some not so anonymously, that he had a 7th round draft grade, if that. I mean, he was looked at as an undrafted free agent.
And you had Joe Flacco, who you then traded 5 weeks later to the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that was bizarre. And think about the best quarterback that they had on the roster. Never saw a snap. Probably Kenny Pickett. I mean, that was probably the best quarterback they had on that roster. As far as, you didn't know at the time what Shedeur was going to do. Joe Flacco was still a question mark. I mean, he's 76 years old. He's old. You just had no idea. But, I mean, the most reliable, probably the guy that you could depend on the most at the time would have been Kenny Pickett. And unfortunately, the injury took him out of the competition. He never had a chance to get going. So, I don't know. It's just it's a bizarre situation. But
I will say this, though. I saw a report earlier today saying that the Browns have done preliminary searches on a new coach.
Okay.
So, the fact that Stefanski even made it 100 games with the Browns is shocking.
Yeah.
But it's the Albert Einstein. Like, how long, do something over and over again and expect a different result. He's a 2-time coach of the year, but every time he's a coach of the year, it's because the Browns actually have a winning record and they go 9-8 or 10-7.
Yeah, it's been a bizarre run. Watching Kevin Stefanski's offense, just
is it just me?
Through the NFL has been bizarre here for me.
Is it just me, or does it seem like the Browns' offenses look better with Tommy Rees calling the plays?
A little bit, but then it's also hard to tell because that's about the time Shedeur came into the mix too. So the offense was going to change anyway. As far as the little, just the little things. I mean, you don't change the whole scheme around, especially when you have no offensive line and no real wide receiver 1 or 2, as far as an NFL level wide receiver 1 or 2 would be concerned. To really speak of. So I don't know. I mean, the offense is what it is. Thank God for Harold Fenton Jr. That was a great pick. It obviously for a lot of reasons you hate to see the injury to Quinshon Judkins, but man, that was a really bad one. I hope he's going to be okay. But I don't know. I mean, the Browns, they have some things. They have potential. That offense has potential. They just need someone, I think, with a little bit of a different mindset or a different perspective to come in and maybe get things going. I don't know what it is, but you've got to have an offensive line. You have to protect the quarterback first of all.
Yeah,
and you have to be able to run the football, right? You have to create some holes to run the football. So I think that's important too. But yeah, 13-6, the Browns beat the Steelers. I can't imagine you were happy watching the game plan that was unfolding for the Steelers at all.
No, and like I told my dad, I said, if our offense comes out against the Ravens and looks like it did, against the Lions in the 3 weeks before that, I'm gonna be so upset because, I don't care. Obviously, I don't care about the record. Obviously, it'd be nice if TJ, still had the record.
Yeah.
Or was tied with the record, but if you get to win the division, guaranteed to host a home playoff game, and rest your starters in Week 18, I think every single team in the NFL would take that.
Yeah. And Myles Garrett seemed to be – they can say whatever they want. Mike Tomlin can say whatever he wants, but Myles Garrett seemed to be on the forefront of their mind as far as that offensive game plan went.
He definitely was.
Ben, why didn't they run the football? I don't understand.
Because it's Mike Tomlin, and he's going to try and prove that – it's the same thing with Ryan Day. When he used to say, I'm going to prove that I'm tougher than you, except it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
He's going to go, we don't have DK Metcalf? Okay, so we're going to prove that we can still throw the football.
Yeah,
Dude, you're averaging 5.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, we could throw the ball and not let Myles Garrett sack the quarterback. But, why would you – the Browns,
okay.
Like I said, we talked about it. The Browns' run defense has taken a step back. The Steelers have started to figure out their running game. I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't go forward with that. And
let's put it this way. How did the Browns lose their last 3 or 4 games? The Titans gashed them in the run game.
Yeah.
The Bills gashed them in the run game.
Yeah.
And then the Steelers just passed the football.
Well, and you add in some questionable coaching decisions from Kevin Stefanski and a few of those games as well. And there you've got a recipe for disaster. But anyway, here we are. I mean, the Browns are 4-12 again, probably looking for. I would imagine they'll see a 4-13 finish. So Jacksonville's drew, maybe top 5, even top 10 picks in the draft. But here's Jacksonville at 12-4, which is amazing to me. What they've been able to do is pretty outstanding for them, not for us so much as Browns fans. But I don't know, whatever. It's just I don't even want to talk about the draft today. We're not going to do that. If we're going to talk about anything spring, Ben, it's going to be baseball. Let's get into the World Baseball Classic. Let's just talk about how it looks like Team USA is maybe making a concerted effort to win this year, right? I mean, we talked about the roster. Tell me some of the pitchers. Just go through the pitchers that we have. And again, this isn't going to be it. We're going to need more than this, obviously. But tell me the guys that are in right now.
So the pitchers that are in right now, you have David Bednar from the Yankees, Clay Holmes from the Mets, Nolan McLean from the Mets, Mason Miller, Joe Ryan, Paul Skeens, Tariq Skubal, and Logan Webb. You look at those last 3 names I just listed. They've all won a Cy Young in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And Skubal is coming off back-to-back Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
Like,
pretty strong.
If it's managed right by Mark DeRosa, you could have Tariq Skubal starting you in a World Baseball Classic final. And I don't think there's not a pitcher in the world, besides maybe Paul Skeens and Tariq Skubal, that I want starting a final.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair to me.
And like I talked to you about off the show, if I was Mark DeRosa, I would put those guys back to back. Right? Throw 1 for 3 innings and throw another 1 for 3 innings. And throw 1 for 3 and throw 1 for 3 2/3, 1 for 3 1/3. Get you through 7.
Yeah.
Good luck hitting those guys.
Yeah, they're tough. I mean, they're tough. That's a tough roster so far. And we talked about, Cal Raleigh, Will Smith, the catchers.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper, Gunnar Henderson, Bryce Turang, and Bobby Witt Jr. are the infielders right now. Outfielders, you got Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, PCA, Aaron Judge, and Kyle Schwarber. Ton of power there. I mean, a lot of power, a lot of speed.
And if you look at
Corbin Carroll,
if you look at our coaching staff too, I mean, there's some Hall of Fame level coaches. I mean, Mark DeRosa, you have Andy Pettitte, your pitching coach.
Yeah.
Matt Holliday's your hitting coach.
Yeah, heavy Braves team with Mark DeRosa, Freddie Gonzalez, Brian McCann. Just a lot. Andy Pettitte as the pitching coach is intriguing to me. You mentioned him. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, Andy Pettitte always had a really strong, I feel like, mental makeup when he was in the league. He was like one of those guys. He, along with John Smoltz, were probably of that era, probably the top clutch pitchers. The guys you would want, in a game 7 or in a deciding game or whatever, the guys who went on the mound. So,
and I think it's better too that they use like legends to coach instead of like using actual coaches. Because like you said, these guys get to learn baseball from voices that they haven't heard from.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, as an athlete, sometimes if you hear something from somebody that, that isn't your coach, it sticks with you.
Yeah. Sometimes the coach speak. I mean, I don't mean to always listen to your coach. That's important. But sometimes when you get to this point, you're a major leaguer, right? The coach speaks stuff. Sometimes sort of you tune it out a little bit, right?
Yep.
But sometimes when you hear that different voice or that different perspective or someone like from Andy Pettitte, who's been there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, just because your coach hasn't pitched a game 7 in the world, whatever, don't listen to him. That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you hear that from an Andy Pettitte or you hear from Brian McCann, something, hey, when you're behind the plate and this happens, like, look at, it hits a little bit differently. It's just different. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, it's just a different perspective. It's from a different organization, from a different mindset. It can hit differently.
And not even just that too. It's like, different coaches recognize different things too, right? So like, Andy Pettitte be like, hey, I see this in your mechanics. Why don't we, tweak this?
Right.
And then he could go back to his team and be like, look, like, he saw this. What else do you see?
Mm-hmm.
And then like, it could make Tariq Skubal or Paul Skeens even more dominant.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think the point is you never really stop listening for that advice. No matter how, it doesn't matter if you're a Cy Young Award winner or if you're, pitching for the first time on an 8 and under travel team or whatever. I think you can always learn something from somebody. And sometimes it's from your opponents. I mean, sometimes you learn the best lessons from opponents, right?
Yeah. And I think it
good chance.
I think it helps though to have the consistency though with the head coach and Mark DeRosa.
Yeah,
because he's going to know what he wants to do and how he wants to coach. And even though there's a few of the same players from last year's team, if you're constantly changing the head coach just because you want to go through all these legends, it's still going to change the dynamic of the team. I think as long as Mark DeRosa wants the job for the World Baseball Classic, he's going to have it.
Yeah, you need some continuity there
because he did an incredible job with the pitching staff we had last year. We had no business being in the final.
Yeah.
And he was able to manage that pitching staff and get us to a final. Yeah. And they just ran out of gas late against Japan. This year, you have this star-studded pitching staff, and you're like, okay, we might have a shot this year. Like, I get the World Baseball Classic doesn't really mean anything, but who doesn't love baseball?
Excuse me. Yeah, I agreed. I mean, it's still a fun thing to watch. It's still a lot of fun to watch.
It's more entertaining than spring training.
I mean, if you're going to compete, you want to go win, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't do anything it doesn't do anything. But still, I think if you're going to go compete, you want to win, I think it's,
sure. I know I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll start March 5th, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. March 5th, pool play at the Tokyo Dome. You'll have Puerto Rico's, the games played in Puerto Rico, like always. There'll be games played in Houston and in Miami. And then I believe the knockout stage begins on, I'm looking for the information, March 13th. So
is the final still in Miami again?
I don't know where the final is this year, to be honest with you. I'm not sure about that, but we could find that out later as we go on. But yeah, that's something spring. I think spring, right? Think some warm baseball thoughts. Hey, we're almost there, man. We're almost to spring training. We're only just a couple of months away, less than a couple of months away now from pitchers and catchers reporting. So we're almost there. But let's switch back to football. I want to go. We started off in the NFL. Let's go back to school, Ben. Let's go get our degrees. Going back to college, man. What's that?
Well, I don't like school.
Well, you're gonna have to learn. You gotta love it, man. You love school now. That's what you do.
Okay. There's 40 days until pitchers and catchers report. It's 40 days and 7 hours.
And 7 hours. That's the important part. 40 days and 7 hours. But listen, hey, so it's New Year's Eve. We know that. It's December 31st. There's all the stuff. 2025 is going away. 2026 is going to be here tomorrow. Well, tonight. At midnight. Technically, that's tomorrow, I guess. But maybe more importantly, if you're a Buckeyes fan or if you're a Miami fan, I guess, which does Miami even really have fans? Don't they have just a bunch of transient people that, I don't know, whatever. The Buckeyes play the Hurricanes tonight in the Cotton Bowl in the postseason rematch of the 2003 Fiesta Bowl, which was the national championship game. Listen, Miami fans have been talking about it for almost a quarter of a century. Pass interference this, no pass interference that. This should have been delay a game. Every excuse under the sun, right? Which, listen, Buckeye fans do it too. I'm not throwing stones. Ohio State fans do the same thing. When when you see Ohio State lose a game, we do that as fans as well. I'm not, we're not absolved from that. We do it as well. But I mean, a quarter of a century is a long time to hang on to this. So Miami finally has their shot. They're back. They're on the national stage. They're in the postseason. This is like kind of their first foray into the national spotlight since we've started the whole, playoff system, whether it's 4 teams, 12 teams, whatever. This is Miami's first time back in it. So this is your shot, Miami. There's a little bit to worry about, I think, with Ruben Bain and just the Miami defensive line and I don't know, the pass rush and, they held Texas A&M to 3 points or whatever, but they also didn't score until less than 2 minutes to go in the game at Texas A&M. And I know it was windy, but whatever. But it was like 65 degrees in windy. It wasn't like
it wasn't like it was 32 degrees and snowing. And I also will say this too: what the Miami offensive coordinator said was, for some reason didn't sit right with me. He goes, how many points did Ohio State score in their loss to Indiana? Somebody's like 10. He's like, Indiana only won 13-10. He's like, but we win 10-3 and it's a bad win. He's like, I'm like, what does that have to do with playing Ohio State?
Yeah.
Like clearly they're in your head if you're talking about their loss to Indiana.
Yeah. I think you should just, maybe worry about getting your guys ready because listen, Matt Patricia is going to have his guys ready. They're going to be,
sure.
Ohio State defense is going to be ready. I know there's a little bit of a rust factor. I guess I'm concerned more about the offense being rusty than the defense.
I think with the offense being rusty, like going to your point, right? Like having Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, it's one of those ones where, you know, you can just be like, hey, first play of the game, if either of you are in single coverage, run a go ball, I'm throwing it up, go get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something to kind of just spark it.
Absolutely. And listen, Ron says hi. Hi, Ron. How are you? We appreciate you having on the show, man. Appreciate you watching. Happy New Year, Ron.
Like last year, right, against Oregon, you know, when we started with those 2 quick plays and then a touchdown to Jeremiah Smith, you're like, okay. Like,
so listen, now if you're Ohio State, other than just going out and playing this Matt Patricia defense, we know the brand of defense that they play. How do you avoid being on the other end of that? How do you avoid letting because Miami has Carson Beck. Carson Beck is no slouch. He's 16-3 against ranked teams in his career as a starting quarterback at the college football level, right? So how do you keep Miami from jumping on you that way? Because no one expected Ohio State to do that to Oregon, especially after the regular season loss last year. So if you're Ohio State, how do you keep that from happening? I mean,
2 words, Matt Patricia.
Fair enough.
I think he has to have these guys disciplined enough to know that, look, Carson Beck's a winner. He's not going to make many mistakes, but when he does, we have to capitalize.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Carson Beck is prone to making some mistakes.
He is.
You're probably going to get, if you're Ohio State, at least 1 to 2 good chances for a turnover tonight, I would think. You have to capitalize.
You have to capitalize.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you this earlier in the season when Ohio State beat Michigan, you know, when their comms went out, Ryan Day and Matt Patricia were co-calling offensive plays.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at Matt Patricia, you can't tell me that he's not looking, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, Ryan Day is now calling plays for the playoffs.
Yes.
So, and I've also heard that Brian Hartline is going to be down on the sidelines as well.
Yes. So
it could be kind of like a trio calling plays. Like, you know, it could be them all giving their input. Like, hey, you know, what do you guys want to do here? You know, like what, and it also could be one of those things too, where in practice where, you know, Matt Patricia's like, look, if I was Miami, this is how I would defend this play. Or this is how I would defend this situation. And then they come up with like, oh, you know, that's a good idea. I'm going to change this to this.
Yeah.
Like, I think having a Matt Patricia level guy in your room, it's like Chip Kelly last year calling your offense. Like, that was one of the most explosive offenses college has ever seen.
Yeah.
And then you look at our defense this year, it's one of the most explosive defenses college football has ever seen.
Yeah, they've got so many NFL guys at every level of that defense, and they're very, very talented. I mean, you've seen the All-American teams. I mean, the evidence is there. They've got some really good football players. Say what you want about strength of schedule. People get way too caught up in strength of schedule. It's not just about who Ohio State played. It's how they were able to stifle everyone.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't matter. I mean, these are still college football teams. I don't care. It might not be, you know, Alabama and you know, Indiana, the number 1, number 2, number 3, Oregon every single week. But every single week, I mean, you see teams get upset. You know, you see teams in the top 25 lose to teams that they don't really have any business being on the football field with, right?
Mind you this.
Ohio State wasn't close to that. I mean, the only team they lost to was the number 1 team in the nation, who's undefeated, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
mind you this. Vanderbilt, who said they should have been in the college football playoffs, just lost to Iowa.
Yes.
They gave up 34 points to Iowa.
Yeah. Iowa didn't score 34 points all season.
Like, Vanderbilt, you think you should have been in the college football playoffs? I'm sorry, but no.
I'm sure Diego Pavia is going to cuss somebody out after the game. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Let me ask you this, though. If you're Ohio State, are you heavy run or you lean more towards the pass?
I think you have to run the ball. You have to run the football. You got to stay away from Ruben Bain. You got to stay away from the pass rush. You have to come out and listen. That doesn't mean run the ball up the middle on 3rd and 10.
He will.
We might see it. Listen, stop with the hashtag fire Ryan Day. Let him cook a little bit. But yeah, they do have to establish some kind of running game. Tegra Shabola is going to be out. It looks like at right guard. I don't know if that's going to be Joshua Padilla there. I'm not really sure what they're going to do.
I will say this, though. I'm okay with that because in the Indiana game, he got absolutely exposed and was horrible.
I was wondering if he was injured or something going into that game because he looked night and day from Michigan to Indiana. He looked completely different.
He had to have been, or he was, or just something because he was awful.
Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad look. I don't know exactly what happened there, but you're right. He didn't look good. Not quite sure what happened. I've seen a lot of Buckeyes fans, I mean, really on the borderline of wishing ill will upon the kid, basically. Like,
it's college sports, mindset. Dude. It's
the
Ohio State kicker was getting death threats too for
it's so stupid. It's so stupid. If you can't conduct yourself better than that as a fan, I think maybe you need to look into a different hobby. maybe try solo sports that only you are. Maybe go skiing or something. Try something that only relies on you to be successful. Because I mean that's not the way team sports work. No. You can't. It's ridiculous.
I mean, jokingly, I texted you saying, I could have made that kick. In all honesty, reality, if you put me in that situation with no experience, I'm probably shanking it as well. So
you could put me in an empty stadium and let me try to punt the ball from the literal 2-yard line, and I probably still would miss getting it between the uprights. I don't know, 3 out of 10 times.
The only thing I will say though that frustrates me with Ryan Day is his inability to be able to find a kicker.
Yeah,
you have Ball State's kicker sitting on the sideline, who was 11 of 13 last year. He hit a 53-yard game-winning field goal. The only 2 field goals he missed were from 50-plus.
Yeah.
They were into the wind. He missed them by a yard. Into the wind. He missed them by a yard.
Special teams has been weird under Ryan Day. I will give you that. They've always had a decent punter. But as far as field goal kicking, it's like anything over about 40 to 42 yards under Ryan Day has been a little dicey. So
you're like, oh, is he going to make it? Oh,
is it even going to be close? And that's weird. You're Ohio State. I mean, obviously you're a blue blood. You're one of the 3 to 5 premier programs in the nation. They should really honestly have their hand pick of almost any position they want. Really, you should be able to go to the transfer portal and just pick guys out, and that almost goes.
My dad's saying,
yeah,
like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. But that has been a concern. So as far as Miami Ohio State goes, I don't want to spend too much longer on it. Ben, do you have like what's your gut telling you on a final score tonight? How do you feel about this?
I personally think it's going to be a double-digit win for Ohio State.
Okay.
I'm thinking, the spread's 9.5. I'm thinking it could be like 34-10 maybe.
Okay.
Because
I think it's going to be closer than that. I think we're looking at like a 10-10 game at halftime. I think you're going to see a lot of fire Ryan Day stuff on social media. And then your friends are going to look really dumb later when they end up pulling away and winning like 24 or 27-13. I think they'll come out. They've shown the ability to make these adjustments in the second half defensively that have just absolutely been stifling under Matt Patricia. And they were pretty good under Jim Knowles last year, but I mean, Matt Patricia has put them on another level defensively.
They were, but not only to adjust at halftime, but Matt Patricia's ability to adjust on the fly.
I
don't know how many times I've seen a team march down the field.
Yeah.
Like they'll march right down the field and kick a field goal. You're like, are you serious? Like we're doing this again? And then it's their next 6 possessions: punt. You're like,
and suddenly it looks like Ohio State has 15 guys on the field on defense. Yeah. It's
so
wild.
Okay, I have a trivia question for you. When was the last Ohio State kicker that was not drafted in the 7th round? Do you know who it was?
The last Ohio State kicker that wasn't drafted in the 7th round.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Nuge.
Yep. He was drafted 47th overall by the Jets.
Yeah. Okay.
So Ohio State has not had a elite level kicker since Mike Nugent in 2002.
Okay. I can't believe I got that right, by the way. But I mean, that makes sense. Wow.
That's bad. Like
yeah.
You said, you're a blue blood. You should be able to go to the portal and be like, kicker, I want you. I'm going to take that.
Yeah, 55-yard field goal should not be a rare thing at Ohio State. I think it's a puzzling problem.
With the way kickers are nowadays, kickers are expected to make 55-yarders.
Well, I think I saw a high school guy hit a 62-yarder earlier this season.
Yeah.
Just from up here. You know what I mean? Just a guy around here that's not even a huge Division I prospect. So yeah, I mean, you would think that at Ohio State you should have guys that can easily hit that, 40 to 50 yard. I think that should be a makeable kick, but whatever. Here we are. I think so. I think it's gonna be a little closer than you think. I'm thinking 24-13, 27-13 Ohio State, but I do think it's close. I think it's gonna be a maddening game at halftime. It's gonna be a defensive struggle. I think Ohio State could have the same kind of situation they had in the first half against Indiana, where they move the ball a little bit but don't quite execute. Just because of that Miami pass rush, I think they can be relentless. And if Ohio State has any trouble at all establishing the run game, then they're not going to have too much fun in the passing game either in that first half. I think they'll eventually figure it out at halftime. And when your defense is going out and like I said, stifling the other team consistently, it gets a little bit easier. It takes some of the burden off your offense. It makes it a little bit easier. Just, your mindset is like, okay, we don't have to press so hard. Yeah. Eventually we will execute. We will score. I think that helps.
I will say this,
27-13, I think.
I will say this, though. I've been telling people this all season, right? If I'm Ryan Day, right, what's stopping you from literally pulling a varsity blues, right, and putting 4 guys on the right side of the field and forcing them to cover Jeremiah Smith one-on-one? Because if you double Jeremiah Smith with 5 wide receivers, one of these guys is wide open.
Yeah.
Like, I would literally just put 4 guys over here, be like, cover them, good luck covering him. I'm throwing a go ball every single time.
Hey, fair enough. Listen, if they start asking for listen, Brian Hartline's leaving, Ben. Okay, I don't know if you've been on Indeed. Maybe there's a listing where the Buckeyes are looking for an offensive coordinator.
Hey, I can put it up. That's all I'm saying.
Send it up, man. I mean, why not? What's it hurt?
If I ever meet Ryan Day, I'm giving him that play call suggestion. Hey, put 4 receivers over here, put Jeremiah Smith over here, and force them to cover him one-on-one.
I am sure that he will take it into consideration and probably end up with you live on the phone for most Buckeyes games.
And then he'll just QB draw it right up the middle.
QB draw, 3rd and 19. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Not even a fake. Just straight back run right up the middle.
He'll line up in the formation, and then he'll just QB draw it right up the middle.
You have any thoughts on any of the other playoff games at all? Before we get out of here, tomorrow at noon is the Orange Bowl, Oregon, Texas Tech, and then at 4:00 you've got the Rose Bowl with Alabama and Indiana. And then hold on. And then the Sugar Bowl tomorrow night, 8 p.m. You've got Ole Miss and Georgia. So any thoughts on any of those?
I think Texas Tech could beat Oregon. I think Oregon has an explosive offense. I just don't think they're the same caliber team they were last year.
Yeah, probably not.
But I think Georgia's going to win pretty handily against Ole Miss.
Okay.
And then I think Alabama, Indiana. I think that could actually be a really, really good game.
This feels like the point where Ole Miss hits a wall without Lane Kiffin, right? Like without their coach that got him here. Like you're playing Georgia now, you're playing Kirby Smart. This isn't. Yeah, I think this would be the point where they hit the wall.
I also think that Alabama, Indiana could be a good game depending on what Alabama team shows up.
Yeah.
If you get the Alabama team from earlier in the year, Indiana's winning by 70.
Oh, for sure.
But if you get the Alabama team that came back from 17 down against Oklahoma, Indiana could be in for a shootout.
Well, and just remember how limited that Alabama rushing offense was against Georgia, and Indiana did a pretty good job of limiting Ohio State. I mean, if Indiana can do that, listen, I think the Nick Saban mystique is gone from Alabama. I know Bama fans still want to talk like there's still those teams. They're not. It's that was Nick Saban. I mean, Nick Saban was. I don't know if it's possible to give him enough credit. I mean, he's the best coach of our era. I don't think it's even. I don't think it's close. I mean, you can say what you want about Urban Meyer. I know he won a couple national titles, but I mean, Nick Saban is head and shoulders above everybody, and that's okay to say.
Let me ask you this: is Nick Saban? I mean, obviously he's the best coach. Is he the best coach in general? NFL, college, everything. Is he the best coach of our generation?
Between he and Bill Belichick, right? Like
but when you look at Belichick's nothing without Brady, though.
Well, but how do you know that Nick Saban is nothing without illegal NIL money? How do we know? I mean, we don't know because Brady was never. I mean, Belichick was okay. It went rough without Brady for a year or so, but I mean, what if he had Drew Bledsoe all those years?
Yeah,
you just never know. You don't know. Maybe, I mean, we can't say that because it's the unknown. We just really don't know. It would be pure speculation. But yeah, it's got to be, as far as success goes, it's got to be he or Bill Belichick, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're both incredible coaches.
It's amazing the run that Alabama went on. I mean, I don't know that we'll ever see anything like that in college football again.
Yeah, I heard Nick Saban talking to Pat McAfee. He was on Pat McAfee's show, and he's talking about how one year he took the defensive play calling responsibilities because his defensive coordinator was like fumbling over the plays and couldn't spit them out in time.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, he's like, I took over play calling duties, and he goes, man, he goes, I've never been so nervous in my life.
That's funny.
He goes, because I knew if I messed up and we got gashed, he goes, and people knew I was calling plays, he goes, I knew I was getting my butt chewed out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Goes, sure. But then he goes on to say Ryan Day will be just fine calling plays, which I hate on Ryan Day, but it's because of the whole loopholes narrative where he thinks, oh, I'm tougher than you. I'm just going to run the ball right up the middle 445 times a game. And it's like, I hope that he sees after these last 2 years, like that, you can throw the ball to set up the run. You don't have to run the ball to set up the pass.
Yeah.
Like, you look at Chip Kelly. We threw the ball to set up the run.
Yeah, well, they used that short passing game as a secondary form of running the ball. I mean, it was like the way they the reverse things with Jeremiah Smith, and they were very creative in that. That creativity seems to have been lacking a little bit this year. That's that's gone from the offense. Which it's funny to me. I mean, you've got that all on film. I mean, could Brian Hartline not look at that and go, "Hey, let's employ that tactic"? And maybe that's what we're in for in the playoffs, because that stuff didn't come around until the playoffs last year. So
it is, but it's also one of the things too where I think Ryan Day wanted to prove to people that he could win without a offensive coordinator that didn't really have experience.
Yeah,
and if you think about him and Chip Kelly were best friends, so they were probably talking about the plays together.
Yeah.
And
so why did Chip Kelly go to Northwestern then? Why is he the offensive coordinator at Northwestern now?
Why wouldn't didn't work out in the NFL?
Well, but wouldn't the natural progression seem to be Ryan Day bringing him back to Ohio State for a year or two?
I just think if Brian Hartline would have left, if Brian Hartline would have left during the season and didn't finish out the national champion or the college football playoffs, I think you could have seen them hire Chip Kelly.
Okay.
And then he comes in and calls the plays, kind of just takes over Brian Hartline's. But I also think that Chip Kelly might not have wanted to come back because, you can't really top what he did last year at Ohio State.
That's fair.
You had 2,000-yard rushers, 1,000-yard. You're one of the best. You're one of the best college offenses ever.
Yeah, and you won a national title.
Yeah, and
with a quarterback, by the way, in Will Howard, who a lot of people thought was very limited.
Yeah.
Until those playoffs started,
so
he played very well.
And one thing Ryan Day did say though is that he wants the quarterback. He wants to implement the quarterback run some more. So I've been telling people, don't be surprised if Julian Sayin starts running the football in these playoffs.
Well, like the year against Georgia. We saw that. Yeah.
If teams aren't expecting it and he takes off on a bootleg, he could get you 12, 15, 20 yards because nobody's expecting it.
Well, especially because if you're watching film, as a defense, you don't even have to look into the back. You don't even have to keep an eye on Sayin.
Yeah.
There's no reason to watch him unless you're trying to see when the ball's coming out, right? I think they could disguise some runs. And people go, well, when you're going to run, just throw Lincoln Kienholz out there.
Well, then people know you're going to run.
Yeah, you don't think the defense sees that and goes, hey, that guy. You know what I mean? Of course they catch up. They're going to catch on to that.
And
so you can't do that.
But I've always said, I think there's times when you still could throw Lincoln Kienholz in there.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want Ohio State to do, right, is I want them to line up in a formation where you have Lincoln Kienholz out there, right?
Yeah.
You also have Bo Jackson and another running back. Run a triple option because if you just
remember the old jump pass, the Florida Tebow jump, what's wrong with that?
Or what if you throw one triple option play, right? And you bust out a triple option play, teams will be like, wait, we haven't seen that before.
Yeah. Well, but then the only problem with that is your offensive line has to completely change, mindsets on the fly, and that's tough.
You can implement a triple option play. It's literally an option play. You pick what side you're going to run it to. And
you can, but the triple option requires so much timing and so much precision along the offensive line, and it's hard to go back and forth.
Or not even the triple option, just implement an option play with two running backs in the backfield and just have one of them act like he's going and he blocks the edge, and then the quarterback just reads him.
See, I feel like Ryan Day is such a he's a what do I want to say? He manages. What's that?
He's not innovative. He's not creative.
Well, he coaches the game to limit mistakes, right? And limit the possibility. He is a risk management kind of a guy.
So kind of like Mike Tomlin.
The more moving pieces and option pitches and handoffs and things, there's more opportunity there to turn the ball over. And I think that's not really Ryan Day's thing. You know what I mean? Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, schematically, yeah, it would give defenses a nightmare to, like, what do we even prepare for? Like, do we prepare for Sayan throwing it 40 yards down the seam, 25-yard out routes? Do we, Jeremiah Smith running across the back of the formation and we lose track? Like, what do we prepare for? And now also they have this triple option thing. But I think Ryan Day just really is he's just too much of a risk management guy. Not quite to the point where Jim Tressel was. Obviously, there are some more chances that Ryan Day takes as far as throwing the ball downfield. But yeah, I think a lot of the moving parts and pieces and flips and whatever pitches in the option, I think you're not going to see that from Ryan Day.
And I think it's one of those things too. Like, when you have a defense that is this good, like you should not be scared to throw an interception.
Yeah.
Like, the only time, like,
you look at it right back.
Like, only time you should be scared to throw an interception is like if you're inside your own 30. If you're on like the opponent's 40, if you're close to midfield, if you're in their territory, let the thing fly. You have one
Go push it.
You have one of the best defenses college football has ever seen. How many goal line stands does this team have this year where they stand on their head?
And last year.
Yeah. Like I told my dad, I said,
remarkable.
You can get to the red zone. You ain't getting to the end zone.
Yeah.
Like, against this team, if you're going to score, it's going to have to be from outside the red zone. Because if you get to that goal line, you are not scoring any points.
Yep.
You are not scoring a touchdown.
Yep. Agreed. And I think we might see one explosive play on each side from the offenses today, but I don't think it's going to be a ton of, like, I don't expect a track meet. I don't expect it to be, 45-38. I mean, obviously we've seen what this Ohio State defense has done all year. But yeah, I think Ohio State wins tonight. I think, like I said,
let me ask you this:
27-13. I think that's the score.
Let me ask you this though.
No.
If there's one team in this field,
I said no.
Oh,
don't ask me anything. I don't like questions. Go ahead.
If there's one team in this field that you think could like enter a shootout with Ohio State, who is it?
Maybe Oregon.
Yeah.
I think maybe Oregon has the ability to get some guys to the edge and create some mismatches or whatever with Ohio State and just the creativity, I guess, from Dan Lanning. I think athletes, the speed, whatever. I think if anybody would be able to do it, it would be them. Even Georgia, I don't think really has that ability. I think Georgia's more of a straightforward, like, they're just going to try to out physical you, I think it would be Oregon if I had to pick one team.
I would agree.
Maybe Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin, but I feel like I said, I feel like they've lost a little bit of their steam. But let's switch gears one more time because we want to get out of here. We're almost at an hour. I can't believe how fast this time goes, man.
I know.
It's so crazy. It's just like talking sports, and it flies by. Very blessed to be able to do these things. I'm glad I have this platform and the time to be able to do this stuff. But we got to talk about Michigan. I hate to end the show this way. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I've been under the weather for like the past week and a half. I've been
if we're going to end it talking about Michigan, this might be the best time to talk about it because I think this is probably their best hire that they've had.
Yeah. So Michigan goes out to Utah. They go out west and they come home with Kyle Whittingham, 177-88 as a head coach. All those wins and losses are at the University of Utah. He led the Utes. Did you just say Utes? Great movie, by the way. But yeah, Kyle Whittingham, I think Michigan did just about as well as they could have possibly done here with this hire.
I agree.
I saw someone joking, and I don't know how serious it is. I didn't look into it. I didn't do the research. But they said he follows like 5 people on Instagram, on social media.
I'm pretty sure it's serious.
5 females, and he's related to them all in some way or another. So no scandals. And I give this the kind of credit that I give I should say I give Whittingham the kind of credit that I give Dusty Baker for walking into that Houston Astros situation. And just walking into a really a terrible situation, right? As far as PR goes, as far as like, everything. I mean, anything. It's been bad at Michigan. There's been cheating on the field, cheating off the field, been cheating around the field. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it.
I was very puzzled though by the hiring because after 20 years, him and the school just, I don't know if it was one of those things where like they came to him and was like, look, we want to go in a different direction, and it was kind of one of those mutually like, oh, we're going to part ways, or like, we're going to fire you, but we'll just, say we parted ways.
Yeah.
But if it truly was that he just parted ways because he was tired of coaching, but then you take the Michigan job.
Yeah. Listen, if you're Michigan and Whittingham's tired of coaching, that's not what you want.
No,
because he's going to have to do a lot of.
Like I'm saying though, I've seen reports saying that he was just tired of coaching and didn't want to coach anymore. But
Yeah.
it also makes you think that maybe he went to Utah and was like, look, hey, Michigan job opened up. I want to interview for it. Can we just say, hey, we mutually decided to part ways. I've been here for 20 years, had a lot of success.
Yeah. Listen, I think it's impossible to know what goes on behind the scenes and a lot of things. Sometimes when coaches and when they leave certain schools, it puzzles me. When schools fire certain guys, it puzzles me. When there's that mutual whatever, you always wonder, like you said, I mean, that's a great question. Like, who initiated that contact? Who said, hey, we think it might be time for you to move on. We want to go. We want to take the program in a younger direction. Or Whittingham just going, hey, I'm just kind of tired of like, I see these other schools with $20 and $30 million NIL budgets, and nobody's really coming to me. The boosters at Utah aren't really throwing $15, $20 million at me and going, hey, go get a quarterback, go get a receiver, go get a running back, go get whatever. I'd like to try that out once. You know what I mean? Yeah. So who knows? I mean, it's hard to say what goes on behind the scenes.
Did you see the question the one reporter asked him?
No.
They're like, we know you have a great friendship with Urban Meyer. So does that mean they're like, so do you hate Ohio State? He goes, I guess I do now.
I mean, he has to, right? Yeah, nothing personal. I have seen Buckeyes fans taking that personally online. I'm like, you gotta calm down.
Like,
I mean, we love anybody who comes in and says they hate Michigan, so calm down.
Yeah. They're like, so does that mean you hate Michigan? He's like, he shrugs and goes, I guess I do now.
Yeah, I hate Ohio State. I guess I do now.
But it was one of those things too where Urban Meyer gave him all the praise in the world. Like he was on like a podcast or something.
Yeah.
He talked about how this might be one of the best hires Michigan could have made.
Yeah. Because this is about as well as they could have done, Ben.
It's just like you look at those Utah teams. Yeah, they're 9-4 every year, but they're never the least physical team on the field.
No, they always compete well too. I mean, look, people want to bring up it's funny that this happens on both sides. First of all, I've seen people incorrectly say that Kyle Whittingham is 1-0 against Ohio State. I don't know where that comes from. They lost that Rose Bowl game. But if you remember right, they had a running back playing cornerback in that game. And they still went out. I think it was 48-45. I mean, they competed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just his ability to get guys to be able to compete. It's just, I mean, playing sports, like if there's a coach that can get a team to buy into what he's doing and believe in it, that team can go a long way.
For sure.
Because if they're believing in it and they believe in you and what you say, it look out.
Yeah, and I think to keep Utah this relevant for this long says one thing about him. Also, he seems to be a likable guy. I mean, he can clearly coach some football. He's likable. I don't know. I mean, how is he going to relate to the pressure that you get? I mean, I think it's a unique pressure that you get, and not just from fans or the media, but I think from boosters and from the behind the scenes people, right? Like the people who really make these programs like Michigan and Ohio State run, with whether it's money or power or influence or whatever. I think it's going to be, I guess it's going to come down to how well Kyle Whittingham deals with that, I guess. How he meshes with that certain, the pressure, the expectations, not just on the field, but there's going to be a certain amount of expectations for the way that it looks off the field.
And
recruiting has to be big.
Yeah, not only that, you're coaching at one of the biggest universities in the entire world.
Yeah, like for sure. Yeah, and that reaches it. Listen, I mean, it's the boosters from a place. When you talk about Michigan, Ohio State, it's the influence is far-reaching, right? Like you literally have places around the world that are, little pockets of Michigan fans, Ohio State fans, whatever. And he's going to have to deal with that pressure. That's a lot different than coaching at Utah, I think.
Yeah. But I also think, though, that I think it could be one of those things where, like, his first year, he might go like 9-4.
Yeah.
8-3 or 8-5 or whatever. And then, like, the year after that, he just explodes because he's finally able to get his guys. They're finally able to buy into his system.
Yeah.
And I just think, personally, if I was Michigan, right, I'm getting a young, creative offensive mind that can elevate Bryce Underwood, because if you can unlock his full potential, you got 2 years to win another national title.
Is he for sure sticking around?
I think so.
Okay.
Because I mean, I don't know if LSU is going to want him with Lane Kiffin because Lane Kiffin's going to want his own guys.
Yeah.
And Lane Kiffin didn't recruit him to LSU in the first place when he was getting recruited by LSU. It was Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
So I think his best bet would be to stay at Michigan. But knowing him and knowing college football, well, not knowing him, but knowing college football in the state it's in, wouldn't surprise me if he enters the transfer portal tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, and that's something that Lincoln Kienholz has talked about with Ohio State. You know, his ultimate goal is to get to the NFL,
and you have to play to do that.
Yeah, you have to have something on film. You got to have something that people can analyze.
He does. He comes in for one play a game and runs the ball. What do you mean?
And listen, no one would blame Lincoln Kienholz for transferring out of Ohio State. I mean, I don't think that's
no.
I think people treat these guys really strangely anyway when they announce they're going to transfer. I think there's a really weird pocket of people who take it very personally and they want to like go online and start, you know, they want to fight and send like a really personally nasty message to these guys. I mean, do what you want, man. Go find your best opportunity. You don't owe me or any other Buckeye fan anything, man. I mean, I do what's best for you. I think that's always the plan. I certainly don't consider what people on social media think when I make decisions about my career and my future. So I don't know why any of these players would either.
So
whatever.
Before we leave, remember our last show, how I told you I think Brian Hartline at some point in his career would be the head coach of Ohio State football?
Yes.
So a reporter asked him on his mindset entering the Cotton Bowl. He said, we're focusing on the Buckeyes. Love the Buckeyes. It's front of my mind.
Okay.
And with a guy like Brian Hartline, who has been a receivers coach for however long he's been a receivers coach for, I truly, honestly believe him when he says that Buckeyes are on the front of his mind because this guy bleeds scarlet and gray. I've told people this forever. I think he will be the next head coach at Ohio State when Ryan Day is done.
Okay.
It's just that, you know, he obviously, if you want to be a head coach at Ohio State, you're going to have some sort of experience. You're not going to go from a receivers coach straight to being a head or a head coach. Like, he needed that head coaching experience, but when he comes out and you see the love he still has for these guys and the respect that they still have for him, even though he took that job, you can tell that he still loves Ohio State, and he always will.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that I think Hartline's going to be fine. I think the Buckeyes are going to be just fine.
I do too.
And I think, you know, you go take a job at a place like USF, you're not directly competing with Ohio State, right? Like, this isn't like going and taking the job at Florida or at Michigan or at Iowa or anywhere, you know, Penn State. I think it's a different situation. I think, I think they'll be just fine.
And I do want to say this, though. I think having Brian Hartline on the field is going to help better with the receivers. Yeah. Because he's going to be able to talk to receivers, being like, hey, you know, I see this. You know, if he's doing this, you should do this. Agreed. Rather than him up in the booth. I think that's going to help as well.
Well, yeah, if he's not calling plays, there's no reason for him to be up in the booth. I think it's a good move.
If he is in the booth, I think it's a bad decision.
Agreed. I think it's time to get out of here.
I agree.
I am getting a phone call from my wife currently while we're live on the show, so that's fun. So obviously there's something going on downstairs that I need to know about. I am going to get out of here for the evening. Listen, you guys, Happy New Year. I am not going to take this call live on the show. That would be weird. Thought about it. But listen, guys, Happy New Year. Go Bucks. Enjoy some college football tonight. Enjoy college football playoffs tomorrow. And we will see you on the other side of 2026, guys.
OH.
I-O.